Shop the Sherwin-Williams Super Sale and get 40% off paints and stains September 19th through the 24th. With prices starting at $29.39, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your interior or exterior, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store or shop the sale online. Delivery available on qualifying orders. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Clark and Addison, Born into the Ivy. We are your hosts, David and Eli, back to discuss the last series that the Cubs just had with the Pittsburgh Pirates. And this is not just any episode, though. This is a postseason clinching episode. The Chicago Cubs clinched their berth into the postseason today with their 8-4 victory over the Pittsburgh Pirates. How awesome is that?
Man, it feels good. I tell you what, we just got to keep winning so we can play at home.
First postseason berth since 2020. First full season postseason berth since 2018. Pretty freaking awesome. I think that the only player that was on the team in 2020 was Nico and Ian Happ. I think. Does that sound right to you? Yeah.
Sounds right to me. Because Dansby was 2021 or 2022.
22, I think. So
he almost made the cut.
Pretty freaking awesome. I'm stoked about it. I thought that this would happen at the beginning of the season, but I mean, a lot of things get thought, and a lot of times in life, and they don't always come to fruition. Right. So
I'm glad it's not like last year.
I mean, I don't think that this season's ever really been like last year, and that's been part of the frustration. Like, I've gotten frustrated, you've gotten frustrated with the team. A lot of people in podcast land and in real, like, everywhere have been frustrated with the way the team is hit at times. But this team hasn't ever come into the same kind of losing streak or a bulk losing that the last 2 years have had.
Right.
And that's what cost the last 2 years of the Cubs versions of the 23 season and 24 season was they had a couple months where they had massive losing months and not just 500. And that's what the Cubs never finished under 500 in any month this season. And right now they're 10-5 in September. That's freaking awesome. This team, I think, and couple that with the Central and the Brewers doing the crap that they have done, and like everybody at one point thought we were probably a shoe-in for the division, and that frustrated fans, that frustrated us. But this is a special team, I think.
Right.
And frankly, the first time since 2018 that I felt like this was a special team. And I'm going to say that we're the good luck charm here because this podcast was started for this season, and so that's why we're in the playoffs.
Can't argue with that.
Remember, the best way to help grow the podcast is to listen to every episode, like the episode, share the episode with your friends, and if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. Join our Facebook group at Clark and Addison Born into the Ivy, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Clark and Addison Born into the Ivy. The Pirates review of the series. Is there anything you want to say before I go through some of the three games with it?
The strikeouts were lower this series, which was good. Obviously, it's way too high still, higher than we'd like, especially when we have so many players on the bases. Just hit a ground ball. Hit a pop fly. Doesn't matter. Actually, ground ball depends on the situation. But, if there's a guy at third, which I feel like we have a guy at third all the time, and, we steal all the time. We steal bases all the time, I feel like now. It's like starting to,
I still like to see that pick up a little more at times. Mm-hmm. But I think that it has picked up more.
They had Matt Shaw at first, and was it Nico at third? No, it was, I think, Dansby. Dansby at third. Either way, you have a guy at third who is capable, when there's a throwdown, to head home when the throwdown's
Yeah.
happening. And Joey Bart, I mean, he threw the ball that a terrible throw when he was trying to get Dansby out, and I mean he was even walked and he just gunned it. I think he did that last game too, and like take the chance. Joey Bart, his accuracy's terrible, and you got a speedy guy like Matt Shaw, one of the fastest guys on the team. Let him steal the bag when there's a guy at third.
I'd be curious to find out if they're stopping them from stealing.
Mm-hmm.
I would guess no, but I don't know. Like it just seems a little inconsistent at times.
Yeah,
How
maybe
often they
maybe
are.
since like it's almost the end of the season, and how people are getting hurt, sliding into second. I
They
don't
got
know.
that damn mid on.
I know, but still, people are fragile nowadays.
Oh my goodness, you're not wrong. In the first game, Jamison Tyone looked really good.
Yes, he
He went
did.
6 innings, only gave up 2 hits, 2 walks, only struck out 3, but that like strikeouts are not his game. He trusts like they've got the best infield in the league defensively, and a damn good outfield defensively. Use it, and Jameson does, and I like that about him. Now, don't get me wrong, I'd love to see more strikeouts, blah 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 blah. Jameson's stuff just doesn't do that. What he needs to do is have it just enough off so that they don't hit it square. You know what I mean? And Michael Bush led off the third inning with a home run. Nico Horner scored on a wild pitch later in the game, and Dansby doubled in the fourth, scoring PCA after PCA got his 35th stolen base of the season. That was really cool to see PCA steal third base there as well.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was big for his confidence. That whole game, I thought, was big for his confidence, as he also got a 29th home run of the season. It was Bush's 28th, by the way. And the Cubs win 4-0. I find that important because Bush hit another home run the next night in Game 2, and that was his 29th. So both of those guys are one home run away from 30. I think it would
Yeah,
be really cool for each
he
of them
almost
to
hit
get
two
that.
that game.
Yeah, he had 2 doubles to go with the home run. Michael Bush. So Ian Happ, streaky. Seiya Suzuki, streaky. Michael Bush falls in that same category of incredibly streaky a hitter. It's frankly too many batters. Like that's part of my frustration. But I'll tell you what. I don't know if you saw Ian Happ's post game after Game 3 today after they clinched. Dude got emotional, and that was
Mm-hmm.
really cool to see. And I am hard on Ian. Like he frustrates me at times, but that kind of his leadership, I really appreciate. He's a quiet dude. He doesn't like get crazy about anything. I'd like to see that a little more like Justin Steele does at times, but that's just not Ian's personality, and you don't want him to be different. You know what I mean? Than what
Mm-hmm.
is natural to him. But it was really cool because it meant so much to him that they clinched the playoff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that made it just gave another appreciation of Ian. I'm probably a little too critical of the guy at times, but like when he's on, he is on. And right now, he's in that zone where he's on. Hopefully, that continues
Mm-hmm.
through. But same thing with Bush. Like Bush, he had a hell of a game yesterday against Paul Skeens. Cade Horton versus Paul Skeens turned into a little bit of a letdown, but not because of Cade. Skeens. Cubs got all over him early and
Yeah,
often, and that was awesome.
yeah. I was honestly nervous after, not nervous. I mean, I trust Cade Horton and all, but when they bounced back a little bit in the first, I'm like, oh
I
boy,
don't
here
trust.
we go.
There's not a starting pitcher for the Cubs that I trust more than Cade Horton right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, can he hiccup at times? For sure. And I mean, he's a rookie. He's probably going to. I think it'd be crazy not to expect him, but I also think it'd be crazy to count him out. I was not even really wanting them to consider him starting in Game 1 of the playoffs until last night.
Remember when I said that?
Yeah, like that dude's got some cojones, man.
Yeah.
Nothing phases him.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
so
told you, man. I
I say,
told you
yeah,
he's the best pitcher on the
give
team.
him the ball game one, and that, like, I would even be okay with if you're gonna have Boyd. Well, we'll get into that in a minute, but I think Cage should start game one. He, I think he locked up the Rookie of the Year last night, unless he just completely falters the rest. But I don't think that's going to happen at all.
No.
But I would say that he probably locked that down at this point. He went 5 innings, hit 3 hit baseball, struck out 6, got his 11th win of the year. Fantastic. Michael Busch, we just talked about it, 3 for 4. I can't believe he didn't have more RBIs than he did, but I mean he was leading off, so that is what it is. You know what I mean? But he scored 2 runs. Ballesteros, Swanson, and Nico all had 2 hits as well. I think Nico had 3.
Nico had 3, yeah.
Yeah. And the only frustrating part of the game for me was that they had 14 hits, 5 walks, 19 base runners, and only 4 runs. And then we went through. They had 13 Ks. That's why. You can't strike out all the time when you got a bunch of men on base. It's driving me bonkers. Great that the pitching was great and we didn't have to score more. But when you have that many base runners and you only score for 4 runs, that seems like malpractice.
It's going to be very important in the playoffs for sure.
Yes.
It's going to be.
They've got to learn how to play a little more situationally at times as well, and move the runners over, get the runner in, stop swinging for the fences. Because if you can't learn how to do it right now, in that time, I mean, you're not going to be able to do it in the playoffs as well either. You know what I mean? When you really need to do that. Cubs won though, 4-1. I know it doesn't sound like that they did, but game 2 they won, and then in game 3 they got out to 4 runs in the first. I was so stoked, and then Boyd gave up 3 runs in the bottom half. I was like, oh crap! And then they tied the game in the bottom of the second, but that was it. Boyd actually had his best frame of the night or the game was in the third, and then he got pulled. He had a lot of pitches. How many pitches did he end up with? 90 or 83. So I understand why they pulled him at that point. Porter Hodge came in, pitched really well. He gave up the 1 hit, but had 2 Ks again.
Savali.
I would just like to see them use Porter in the 5th, 6th inning.
Yeah.
Because
I don't know why they didn't just put Savali in after.
I mean, I liked Savali pitched really well again.
Yeah, he did.
I think he's making a good bid to be on the postseason roster. Possibly. I mean, he and Colin Ray are probably kind of like we used to talk about with Flexen and Ray, kind of the same type of pitcher. But I think the difference is I think Ray and Savali could come in like a tight spot and get 1 batter too, if you need them, especially against a righty. Drew Pomeranz looked good, and Taylor Rogers looked really good. I thought that was big for him. His peripherals are better than what his results have been with the Cubs, but his results are still results at times, and I think that he needed that. He had a nice clean inning. It was good for his confidence.
I feel like, I mean, Taylor Rogers, I don't think he plays bad at all. But again, like, most of his innings just aren't clean.
Yeah. And he ends up giving up runs. But he also, I feel like, gets put in crappy situations a lot when he comes in, like in the 5th and the 6th. And that's where I think maybe we could use Savali a little more. Or Hodge, even.
I feel like we tried that with Porter Hodge, though, before like he got injured. I feel like
I get what you're saying. Go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
I just don't feel like Porter Hodge is great in those bad situations.
Okay, I don't disagree. I was just kind of hoping that I thought maybe if it's like he seems to have some kind of psyche of the 7th inning and later. So if it was before, maybe because he's a strikeout pitcher. And so that can be really big in sticky situations. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I thought maybe it would just be a lower leverage, even though it's a high leverage situation, it's lower leverage because it's not as late in the game, and maybe he won't overthink it. Because I think, like, seeing him today, like he had nasty stuff, so that tells me that he's probably overthinking things in the later parts of the game because the stuff is there. Like he's not missing things the way he did when he first got hurt and when he um, was struggling so much right before he got hurt. The stuff is much sharper again. And so I think he's overthinking it and he's too much in his head.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Gosh,
don't
I
think
was
he's
laughing.
doing that earlier in the game.
I was laughing at the TV when the ump wasn't calling any of those pitches. Wasn't today's game. Did he pitch yesterday? Or was it the game before?
It was if it wasn't yesterday, it was a game
It
before.
was the game where PCA got that terrible strikeout call in the eighth. I
That
think that
was
was
Monday, I
yesterday.
think.
Oh, okay. Anyways, he was locating the pitches great. He was painting the corners and everything. The ump was just not calling them,
Yeah,
and it
that
was
was it was
driving me
Monday.
nuts. It was driving me nuts.
Yeah, I get that. That makes
Those were
sense.
great pitches. Great pitches.
Awesome series, swept. We even said it would be really cool if they swept, but we just hope that they win 2 out of 3. And they swept with ease, really.
Mm-hmm.
Against a team that was going into that game, this series was 9 games over, 8 or 9 over 500 at home. Sucky period, but at home they were 8 over, and now they're only 5 over. And the Cubs just, it wasn't even a close series at all.
Right.
Preview for this weekend. Starting tomorrow, the Cubs have a 4-game set that nothing could be bigger than right now because the Cubs are still kind of in contention for the Central, but more, they got to get that home field advantage for the wild card round. That's huge because you don't go back and forth. All 3 games, hopefully it's just 2, but all of those games are at Chicago or whoever hosts it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So the Reds come in. They're 5-5 in the last 10, 76-76 on the season. Currently 2.5 out of the last wild card spot, and 40-34 at home. The Cubs are 5-4 against the Reds this season. Expected starters for the week are as follows: Thursday night, Colin Ray versus Hunter Green. Friday, Shota Imanaga versus Nick Lodolo. Saturday, Jamison Tyone versus Zach Littell. And on Sunday, Cade Horton versus Andrew Abbott. Whew. I think that the Reds set us up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure they did. You know what I mean? I'm sure that this was done on purpose, frankly. And like, as they should have. We got some really good starters going, too. The only one that isn't going for us is Boyd. And frankly, I love Matthew Boyd, and I love what he's done this season. But I would say he's our worst starter right now.
Yeah. You saw my text message
current
today.
results, yes. And so, speaking of that, I had texted you what today? What did I send you a text?
We're Cardinals fans.
Well,
this
that
week.
too. But about Boyd, I said I think it's time to discuss whether or not Jamison Tyone should start Game 3 and not Matthew Boyd.
I absolutely think so.
Or, this is my thought too. Hear me out. Game 1, Cade Horton sets the tone. Depending on what happens with that. So if we win that game, and I think we would, Jamison or Boyd, whoever it is, pitches Game 2, and you save Shota if you need a Game 3. I would feel more confident with Shota than either of the other two in Game 3 and a must-win.
Right.
And then if we don't need Shota in Game 3, he's ready to start Game 1 of the division series. And then Cade could probably throw game 2 at that point.
Man, wouldn't it be nice to have Justin Steele?
God, yes,
I miss that
yes.
guy.
What do you think about that idea? Now,
Oh, I
if we
like it.
lose game 1,
Hmm.
Shota needs to pitch game 2
Right.
at that point. For the same reason you're trying to save him for game 3. But, like, I think that would be huge. And then if we don't have to use him at all, he can go game 1 on extra rest. And we all know that extra rest for Shota is a good thing most of the time.
I like it. I think
I'm excited about that idea. They're not going to ask me, but they should do this.
they should watch this episode.
They should.
Listen up, Craig.
Craig Council, CC,
Listen up.
pay attention. The Reds are 11th in the league and 4.61 runs per game at home this season. They are 14th in team ERA this season with a 3.88 while at home as well. The Cubs and the Reds, I mean, I hope they win 2 out of 2 or 2 out of 4. Go 2-2.
I agree. That's what I was thinking was going to happen. Yeah.
Anything else is gravy. Anything less is unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'll get by, but I think that we need that to make sure that we can at least keep pace with the Brewers. And I think that matters, and I'll tell you why in a minute. For the wild card, the Cubs are 5.5 up as of right now on the San Diego Padres for that top wild card spot. But the Padres are winning. Last I knew, I'm looking at Tuesday. Hold on a second. My bad. Padres are winning 6-4 right now in the bottom of the 7th. So let's go Mets.
Mm-hmm.
Just to give us 6 games. If we have 6-game cushion, that's pretty awesome at the end of the day. But even if it's 5, I'm happy with that. The Mets are currently in that last spot, but there are still 3 teams within 2.5 games of them for that last wild card spot. The Cubs are 4.5 back in the Central. The Brewers are probably going to win this game. It's 6-2 now in the middle of the 7th. So we're going to end up 5 back of the Brewers. However, the Brewers have one more against the Angels tomorrow. And then they have, what was it? I sent it to our family today, and I told our family that just for this weekend only, we have to be St. Louis Cardinals fans because the Brewers are playing them in St. Louis, and then they have 3 in San Diego. If the Cardinals could pull off 2 out of 3, and the Padres could pull off 2 out of 3, man,
you're making me smile, man. You're making me smile. Don't get me excited.
Hopefully the Padres sweep.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, they're more than capable of doing that.
I don't know if the Cardinals are good enough to sweep them, but the Padres are. The Padres are. And then I can't remember who they finish up with. Do you know? It's the Reds, isn't it? So hopefully the Reds are contending for that last wild card spot. Because that'll make them even hungrier at the end of the season. And that could be I don't think we're out of this yet. I don't think we're out of this.
I don't think either.
And I will admit, I think it is a long shot, but I don't think it's as asinine to think that it's possible. So I've got one more thing. I hate to end the podcast on a bad note, but Kyle Tucker news came out that he was going to Florida, to Tampa. That's where he lives in the offseason. There's some doctor down there that he had a shin contusion with last year when he played for the Astros. They tried to get that to work better. He went to this doctor, and that helped him quite a bit, I guess. So he has chosen to go down to Tampa to have said doctor look at this injury and see if they can get some kind of rehab for him that works a little better than what the Cubs have been doing so far, because it just hasn't worked out very well so far. I don't know, from the reports that I hear from this and that, all kinds of different things. Patrick Mooney, Sharda Shamba, I just butchered his name. I'm so sorry. I'll get it better, and I'll name him better in the future. But guys like that, they're talking. Yeah, man, that was horrible, and I apologize. They're saying that they don't know if maybe he can play still in the playoffs with the injury, if it's something he can play through. The running seems to be the issue, because he can hit, he can throw, all that stuff. It's the running that potentially is the issue. So if he were to play, I think he would just be DHing from the sounds of it, which kind of rules Ballesteros out at that point. You know what I mean? Which is a shame, because I think Ballesteros is really hitting well. But, I mean, I don't – there's so many possibilities. I just hope that he can play. Because a healthy, or even 90 to 95% healthy Kyle Tucker is going to help improve this team dramatically.
Yes.
As long as he can swing the bat the way we expect him to be able to swing the bat. So that's very much concerning. I don't think that we're going to see him in Cincinnati playing this weekend, but I'm hopeful that he can at least come back for the last two series, if not the last series, just to get some at-bats going into the playoffs. But that said, I'm going to be in Cincinnati. I was really disappointed when I was going through the probables. Nothing against Jameson. I'm excited to watch Jameson Tino pitch, but we were one game away from seeing either Shota Imanaga or Kate Horton live pitching, and that would have been really cool for Paisley for her first game.
Oh, I watched Shota pitch against Shohei, actually. It was awesome.
Shohei is so fun.
I don't know how many hits Shohei has against Shota, but I know it's very, very low.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was a great experience watching Shota pitch. And then, the game we went to this year, Ben Brown was pitching, so it wasn't too exciting. First pitch of the game, Corbin Carroll smacks it dead center.
He did not pitch bad in that game, though.
No, he didn't. But his pitch count was really high.
Yes, it was. I was at that game, too.
You were? Yes, I forgot about that.
You forgot that?
Well, I just couldn't remember. I don't know. I guess I just don't remember. I mean, I remember seeing you and stuff. I just don't remember, what game it was. Obviously, I don't know.
Fair enough. I can understand that. So, I'm going to the Reds game. My daughter, Paisley, is going to her first Major League Baseball game on Saturday, and she's very excited and wants to have a sign, and we're going to be out there along the right field wall down at the end near the bleachers, and so that'll be exciting. We're hoping to say hi to some players and everything else. We're going to be right there in that first row.
Don't try to say hi to Ian Happ. Your heart will get broken.
I don't know. She's got a much more adorable face than you do, buddy.
Yeah.
No offense.
That is true. That is true.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Cubs clinch the playoff berth. Hopefully we'll talk more about any more clinching they do later on in the season. But don't forget to join our Facebook group at Clark and Addison Born Into the Ivy, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Clark and Addison Born Into the Ivy. Leave some posts or comments in there about what you'd like to hear or what you thought about today's episode. And don't forget to subscribe to Clark and Addison at Born Into the Ivy. Thank you very much, and go Cubs. Say go Cubs.
Send them home, Paisley. Go Cubbies.